Hello, everybody. This is Frank with Iron Age News. It is Thursday, April 16th. It's 11:51 a.m. in sunny Florida. And there has been some concern around a recent document signage in the state of Virginia as to the Virginia governor joining in with this constitutional compact, we'll call it, until I read it all out for you, which would definitely put the position of president in jeopardy in future elections. So we gamed it out to about 2032 because the 2028 election will be a little close for them to be able to fix. But basically, if I told you that the way we elect the president of the United States could fundamentally change without a constitutional amendment, without a national vote, or without most Americans even realizing it happened. And this is not a conspiracy theory. It is already in motion, and it currently trends in a manner that 2032 could be the year that flips everything. So let's start with something simple so you can see where this is going. You vote in your state votes for a candidate. That candidate gets your state's electoral votes. That's how it's always worked under the Electoral College. But what if your state voted one way and its electoral votes went the other? Not because of fraud or error, but because it's the law, right? That law exists. It's called the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. Look it up. Here's how it works. States join an agreement, and once enough states join, specifically states totaling 270 electoral votes, they all agree to give their electoral votes to whoever wins the most votes nationwide. Not statewide, nationwide. It's different. So right now, the compact is sitting at around 222 electoral votes. That means it is no longer hypothetical. It is a threshold. And once the threshold to 270 is crossed, the system doesn't evolve, it flips. So you can game this out as we have for you. If it's 2020, it's 2032, and the compact has reached 270. If it does, election night comes, Virginia votes Republican, Pennsylvania votes Republican, Arizona is split, but nationally, a Democrat wins the popular vote by a narrow margin. Under the compact, Virginia's electoral votes go Democrat, Pennsylvania's electoral votes go Democrat. Every participating state, regardless of how its citizens voted, delivers its electors to the national winner. Now, stop and think about that. You have millions of voters in some of these states, and they voted one way, and their states still went the other. And it's not by accident, it is by design. Supporters will tell you every vote counts equally now. It's not true. Critics will tell you you just erased the states, which is pretty much true, more so than what the issue of your vote counts now would say. Because what changes isn't just the outcome, it is now going to be the strategy. Campaigns no longer need to win states, they need to win numbers. So, as you've seen, where we were talking about illegal numbers and illegal figures, what is the problem there, right? If you need to just win numbers, the entire country becomes one giant scoreboard. Where do you go? Where the votes are. Dense population centers, major metro regions, high volume turnout zones, Los Angeles, New York City, Detroit, Chicago. Not because of a conspiracy do you do it, but you do it because of the math. Now layer in the real danger, which you can already see with the cities I've named. Let's say this happens in 2032. Close race, razor thin margin, lawsuits are filed. One side says the Constitution gives states this power. The other side says this is an end run around the Constitution. And suddenly, you don't just have an election, you have a constitutional crisis in real time. First time, probably, that any of you will have ever heard of an actual constitution crisis in the US government. But what the people are missing is the Electoral College was not a random design by the man to hold people down. It was designed to force candidates to build coalitions across states, across regions, across different parts of the country. Now, not just rack up votes in the biggest population centers. The compact doesn't destroy the Electoral College, it hollows it out. It keeps the shell for legitimacy and changes what it actually does. And it does it quietly. No amendments, no conventions, no national debate, just state by state until one day there are enough. And maybe you think that's fair, maybe you think that's dangerous, but the question that actually matters, something which is fundamental, why are we changing it this way? Why is it being done in the quiets? Why do we have smug ass governors like the governor of Virginia signing that into effect, right? Why aren't the average citizens of the United States being consulted on this? You may not be voting in the system you think you are. And if that moment comes, it won't feel like reform. It will feel like something else entirely. And it has been pushed by the Democratic Party because they know that this is pretty much earmarked for their success. They will lose a lot more elections, but as long as they can keep the illegals in the country and keep them voting, this would be a slam dunk for them. Just putting it out there for you. So that's all we have on this subject. Check it out yourself. If you're in a state that is already a member of this and you have a couple dollars, file a lawsuit. That's what has to be done. Lawsuits have to be filed to stop this law. It needs to be repealed now, not when it is election day +1. So there you have it. Have a good day, and we will talk to you later on.